Alright guys, welcome back to the game of the day. Really fascinating, weird game here. Of all the 28-ish videos we've done so far, this one's really fascinating to me and one I really want to share. Because it's to do with matchmaking. So, as you all know, this season, I haven't played too much, but I've just been getting more into it the past week or two. And I'm playing on EU. This is my first ever ranked season on EU. So just to be clear, if you're playing during regular hours on EU, it's really easy to get rating. Extremely easy. I've been spending most of my time climbing up to the Plat 3 border. While on NA, I would very rarely get to that. And if I was that, I was on like the top 10 on the leaderboard or whatever most of the time. We don't have to get crazy into the reasons for that, but there's also another side to EU, which I find quite fascinating. And that's playing off-peak. So what you're looking at here is a game where I started, this is from tonight, I started at Plat 3, and I play off-peak, which means it takes 7 to 8 minutes to get a queue, and when you finally do get a queue, everyone's generally extremely low rated. So if I lose a game, I get robbed of a massive amount of matchmaking rating. If I win a game, I get very little. So what you're looking at is me playing as I know the game, and you know, I'm a reasonable player, with basically 9 other very new people who are just starting out with a guild or two. And you'd think, oh well, WP, you'll be able to carry them to a very easy win. Well, let's watch and see how this goes. And it's an extremely high risk playing off-peak, basically, is what I'm saying. For any decent player, the game heavily punishes you for playing off-peak, because if you do it, you're rolling the dice on a win, which will give you barely anything, or a loss that will just sack you super low. So most people don't do it. We'll talk more about the matchmaking side of things later, but just understand, as we go into this game, this is a low-rated game, and I've got to see what I can do. Starting off, we are on the Paladin Reaper here. There are some other versions, by the way, that people have begun talking to me about. I've had 2 separate people interested in me running the new Blood is Power, which, with its double cast, is worth 30 might. Remember, as a Reaper, we get Life Force for boons. And 30 boons, that's literally, it counts stacks like that, means you can open the game with like 30% life force before even seeing an enemy. And there's interesting stuff you can do with that. I'm still on the version of the Paladin Reaper that you've been seeing in all the Game of the Days, though. There's also Unholy Martyr, the Grandmaster, I had someone talking to me about. But yeah, so we're going to go mid here. I'm not actually that concerned right now. I'm standing safely and hiding off the side because there's a chance that they're going to stealth stack and blow me up. There has been a stealth. You can see that there's, that's probably a spider poison field that's come down. So you can tell that there are enemies in the area. I don't want to get suddenly jumped. It's low rated, so it's unlikely they'll focus me, the Necro, at mid, but I'm staying back anyway. I'm immediately really concerned by this naked Deadeye who I've seen in some other games, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if they don't jump me, they might attack him and he'll go down extremely quickly and easily. So I also want to offer pills for this guy. So, yeah, as expected, they don't attack. They just ran on the node and started shooting whoever was in front of them. So I get on the Necromancer, but then immediately I do notice, okay, no, my Deadeye has been attacked. And you'll notice he's like Zerk, no armor, whatever. And I don't know about the whether they've got the skill to compensate for that kind of nuts stuff. So I come in, I grab my greatsword, pull the opposing thief stealths, and I use Chill to the Bone to try and CC him in stealth just to get my Deadeye to safety. My stuff doesn't land. I drop a Well of Power in the hopes that'll give him a bit of might or maybe protection if he had Vuln on him. And that might keep him safe a little bit. He kites immediately back into the nodes, like into the meat grinder while low and being chased, which is one of the worst places that they can go. Luckily, I've got a little bit of shrouds, but it's not enough. I dip immediately back out of shroud, cast the Well of Blood at range so that I can heal him in down state, run over and press F, which will drop my second Well of Blood. But no sooner as I tried to do that, he ports out of my Well of Blood and away from me, and gets himself killed. So I can't really do anything there. And you'll notice, right, immediately, this is actually a pretty intense mid. Because no matter what, I mean, maybe I could have been more impactful if I'd just gone a bit more balls deep at the start and treated them as though they wouldn't have much pressure on me. But it's like, it's still a lot for me to do here. I've already failed in my first job, which was to provide safety for one of my allies. And now, you know, if we see we've got one low enemy, but a low ally here as well. This is a pretty exciting mid, really, even though everyone's quite low rated. If you can get over frustrations and things. So here I take my dunk. It's beautiful. It's a 7,500k hit. 7,500k. You guys know what I mean. It's a lot of damage. It's kind of overkill, though, because it was the final hit anyway. That could have been like a 2k hit and it would have been fine. I'm forced off of the body, though, because he dropped his ghastly breach as he went down. So that's major boon. Conditions... Boon corrupt, might for him and his ally, so I actually can't do anything here. So we're in a rally race, but the enemy team has the advantage on this rally race because they have all of the sewage and stuff over the bodies. There's also, you'll notice, a trap guardian against me, a trap DH. I don't recognize that the enemy team is running a trap DH until much later in this game of the day, but you'll notice that that's there. Red fields equals bad. Here I run over the body at the last second. You notice my ally's really low. I'm trying to get the blind field plus corrupt. And I'm hoping to flip stab here. And also the blinds will just stop regular damage from killing my ally. Then I can press F. But I have to do it in this skill order. I have to get the blind and the corrupt down first. And maybe even go for a CC on the Greatsword 5. Let's see what we do. I guess maybe I could have saved him there. But I didn't. No Greatsword 5 in time. And the guy goes down. So we've just lost, we've had 2 deaths here, and now the mid-fight's bad, guys. This is a bad mid-fight. There's huge damage that I can drop down over this body at the last moment, but the Necro's up, he's got his Desert Shroud, that barrier and stuff isn't going to be good for me, and I realise here that as well as we've done, they're all so low, we've unloaded a lot of damage, I'm going to die. So I need to pull out. I stand in my well of power for as long as possible there, by the way, to sap heals on myself. I'm going to rewind. I'm not going to rewind much on today's game of the day, but I will show you this here. Watch how, even though I'm low, I'm already in I'm already in flight mode here. But watch, I've dropped my well of power. While standing in the well of power, in Condi's, in Shrouds, what this means is Condi comes on, turns into boon, turns into health. Condi comes on, turns into boon, turns into health. And I'm trying to get all 6 packets of that. So if you look under my health here, I'm getting like 1,000. What is that? I can't. There's lots of little green numbers, okay? And that's why I'm actually standing here. I also whirl, and that gives me leeching bolts. I don't know whether the leech goes through Shroud or not, but yeah. Then I take a few autos before I leave. There's the Well of Blood. Everything to play for still at mid. They're both so low. My allies are low as well. And right as I mean, we could have got some great AoE, include both these guys. But now they've got a Thief has come in. He's hit me. He's put Pulmonary on me. I take the Spectral Grasp to interrupt the Thief and build Shroud, ready to save myself. There's another body, though. Look, I mean, look at how low I am. I could try and res him again. Another rally race. The enemy team is winning this one. And I gotta leave. I gotta leave. So I take the 2 to peel out. My guy goes down. I can't, like, if you look at the minimap here, this would be a 2v3 with a ranger that's probably going to die at the same time, and I'm on no health. So I leave. Luckily, the enemy team doesn't notice this. I get so far away, I break out of combat. So that's mid-lost, guys. That's the opening mid-lost. I come around towards my ally again to offer peels, because he's super low. I drop the Corrupt Well over him in the hopes that I'll flip stab or something. I drop the Greatsword 5 and 4 to hit the other guy that's aggressing. My dude's still low. I put a Well of Power on him. I know that my other ally has hopefully healed. If you saw, not healed him up, but I had another ally came in for pills. But if you look at the minimap now, the enemy team's just killed them both right out of respawn. My guy respawned and died instantly. So we come over. Luckily, this enemy thief is going for a stomp, which is kind of nuts, to be honest. So we can get him here. And it's a struggle even getting them back out of base here. Right? It's a struggle even for that. I stick a bout on the thief just to get extra shroud because I know I'm going to need it. I noticed I have a guardian coming in. I felt really strange about this. I thought that they were a firebrand first, and I was kind of rolling my eyes as I was on this cliff because I was thinking to myself, well, why would a firebrand just walk in there 1v2? There's no win condition. You get nothing out of that. You're a firebrand. You'll never kill them. They're just going to finish you off. So I think, Christ, I got to race in there now. I got to get there because he's just respawned and wandered into mid. I click him to see what's going on, just in case he's not a firebrand. And indeed, I see he's not. He's actually core guard. But he also has a lot of boons, so I don't actually know what his build is. I think I can... He's on staff there, so he's core guard with staff. I mean, my hands are off the keyboard right now. I'm not entirely sure. I tried to pluck a guy away from him, but he stood in the ghastly breach. We drop the Well of Blood. We double blood res. We get loads of stuff. And finally, look at that, guys. That was 9,200 and 9,000 something there as well. Beautiful 18k damage at least unloaded straight away. We blow them up and finally we win mid here because, you know, the quality of player is low on all sides. This guy seems to be AFK and typing, so I take an Axe 2. I notice that this dude is on a Zerk amulet, which, I mean, honestly, I can use one skill and take 40% of your health away. It's not a good build, guys. I'm on a Paladin amulet, so, and that's not just because Reaper's OP. I mean, Reaper is very strong in a lot of respects. By the way, I'm not running Exposure on my Axe right now. I'm trying out Battle, again, because it's 4 stacks of might, so it's 4 boons, so it's 4 feeds of whatever the Grandmaster trait's called. I forget it here. But anyway, so, yeah, now he notices us. He point-blank shots me. And I move forwards, but at this point I realize he's just going to stealth and kite off and keep plinking me, and I'm really not that, it doesn't matter that much. So I just make sure to hit the pet a little bit if he's set it on me. He hasn't even done that. So now, I won't rewind, but you'll notice a second ago, we did see that an enemy was on our close point. Now, what might have been in your mind is, WP, why are you standing around hitting the pet and staying near mid? Because there's a guy at your close. And Instinct would have you Zerg over there, but remember, guys, look at the minimap. The enemy that's at our spawn is already outnumbered by 2 thieves. And we just blew up 2 people at mid who are only going to respawn and come here. There's a chance they'll go close, but it's most likely that they'll come here. So I'm staying here, and obviously we have the Ranger. I think one of these is the Ranger, right? So I'm staying here because I know that it's going to be hot at mid. My allies have all just ran off instantly. So mid is the play, right? We need to hold this. You don't win mid on this map just to instantly let it get debunked. So I get on the node. Here's the Ranger again. I'm pretty confident with this. He point-blank shots me off straight away. Instead of running back on, I bail because the Scourge is there. And I'm going to die if I try to 1v2 that. So now I'm in the same situation where basically the close node I know should be handled. So what I want to do is really just stick about at mid until my guys come. There's no point me running down there and then running back, especially because they're thieves. Where essentially they're probably going to rotate quicker than me, and then you can have a clunky thing where they get into mid first. I know, is this Deadeye actually up on the special like kite spot? Maybe he does know what he's doing. Or is he all the way back there in the background? I think he is up at this cool jumping puzzle, which not many people use. Oh, no, he is in the background. Never mind. Yeah, so that's what's going through my mind. But then I look and I see that they've just killed us. 1v2? Like, what is this? And that's a bit of a worry. So I think, I'll walk over there. But I don't really want to leave mid too much. I do want to re-engage that while it's new. So, because you're slow on Reaper. I don't think I'm making a bad play here, though. I'm sitting about. I'm waiting. I'm watching. And I know that while this is outnumbered, he should win this, right? Deadeye scores the kill. If I have to go plus that, just so that they win that, it would be kind of really annoying. So there you go. Now, this is the other excellent thing that can come from this. And that's that when I was looking at mid, I saw that we had 2 newbie players who were standing on the node together. And obviously, people want to be fighting and they want to be moving around a lot. And what you'll quite often find in a situation like this is one of them will get bored. Because it is kind of a waste of time, them both standing there. One of them will get bored and push up. And that's beautiful. That's a throw. If any of them came up onto the ledge here and engaged me on a fight on the ledge alone, that's such a throw because they're about to get hammered by my 2 allies. And I can open up on them. And so I was actually hoping this would happen as well. That's another reason why I wanted to stay on this ledge. I never mentioned it a second ago. And it works perfectly. I was actually aiming for the Scourge more than the Ranger, but this is just as good. So he comes up and he makes the throw play. He tries to kill me under the nose of incoming enemies. Here's one. And as he kites away when he realizes he's dying, he starts going in the wrong direction. Doesn't even return to the Scourge. The Scourge back there on the node doesn't come up to help him out. So just all these misplays. An ally of mine is furiously pinging mid. Seems to think that just walking to nodes is more important than actually getting the kills. This is absolutely a fine fight. So now we come to the node. So this is a crazy moment here as well. I'll point you to the scores again. My enemies are winning, right now on points. I mean, we're about to get a lot of momentum. But I look at this and my mind is blown. A Scourge, uncontested, is dropping marks around, which is sort of okay, but has used his elite. They've used their elite with no one around them. Ooh, I mean, they must have just started playing, right? So I get what they're probably scared of. It's that we're fielding 2 thieves and they might think they're about to get jumped by one or something. But really, really insane plays. So I just sort of stand from range and I use my Axe 2. You'll notice here as well that they're really focused looking up here. They don't even have the awareness to see me. So I get lots of free damage here. They precast a well over here. I mean, it kind of warms my heart to see a player like this, because this is quite clearly one of their first ever Conquest games, and I really, really, really love seeing this. I love seeing that people have got the balls to come in and start playing. I think it's so fantastic. So healthy for the team to see that people are doing this. This is clearly someone who's, like, maybe done a bit of PvE, but they've just come to the game, and I really, really like that. Never sneer at this, guys, if you ever see it. I think it's great. So, even if they were on my team, I think it's obviously a little bit more frustrating, but I still think it's great. Here, I pull him out of the... I guess that doesn't actually do anything, me going for that pull. It gives me some life force. But yeah, so now we've over-zerged mid. You notice my entire team is here. We managed to secure 2 kills from it, though. I get a 10k Axe 2. I mean, that's without exposure as well, so I'm quite happy with battle. Just the extra might's quite nice. We hit the Ranger again, because remember, he's super squishy. So we can just keep fielding damage on him. I'm aiming him because I can see that he's aiming my ally too, obviously. We get the full cap in mid. And now, about now, I realise, probably in the moment, definitely on Game of the Day, I'm noticing here. Oh, here I'm chasing the range. Oh, there was a really good play here as well. Hold on, I have to rewind. Sorry, guys. Jesus, I'm letting it go too fast. Okay, so coming back here, obviously the Ranger stealths. So he's just stealthed. Oh, well, we have to go back ever so slightly more, all right? So watch, the Ranger stealths, and then what we see come out of stealth first is the pet. And if you notice, the pet is like on the right a little bit. The Ranger looked like he was going this way and he was going to keep going there. But you notice right at this moment, instead of going in that direction, which is where the Ranger was clearly walking to before he stealthed, I instead swing the camera and I come this way. And I do that because of the pet. I see that the pet appears here off on the right, and that vaguely tips me off, and then it starts attacking me. It's not that it's following him, but because the pet was revealed here, it kind of vaguely tips me off that the Ranger was going another direction. And so I immediately turn around after the CC, and I keep chasing him. So, yeah, anyway, here I go for the Well of Suffering to get the swiftness into Cripple, so that I'll be able to kill him. But I miscast it. It lands on the cliff somehow, so terrible to play there from me. My Axe 3 lands, but he has super speed, so it didn't mean too much. I get the pull. I missed the second pull, but we're in Shroud and we get that. So that's good. I don't really want to take that stomp too quickly. I want life force off of him from the Axe 2, and I know because he's so squishy, we can just cleave him down, even though he is a Ranger. So we do that. We put ourselves a bit closer to mid. We go straight back into mid. And, yeah, so the other thing I want to talk about is the meta side of the game right now. And that's you'll notice we're zerging really heavily. And though now I'm on maybe 10 kills, 0 deaths, the enemy team is still winning. And it's because we keep losing sides. So here I flirt with far. I think to myself, okay, well, what about the far point? Maybe if I start playing more heavy, because there's always this moment, guys, when you're winning, but when you personally are scoring a lot of kills, but your team is losing, you have to like change up your gameplay a little bit, right? And maybe try a different take on the battle. So I look at far, but then I realize my allies are going there, and I figure I'll let the druid push far point. I think that's an okay play. Here I come back towards mid. And I see that this Deadeye is just sort of sitting here, waiting, watching. So, very peculiar, but I guess I'll let him do that. And I come to close. And now is when I realize what's actually been happening. This is the same Trap Guardian, DH, that we saw almost win a 1v2 earlier. And he's just won his 1v1 here. So, what's happened is, and I recognize this in the moment, this player has gone to our close every time. He's died, gone close, died, gone close, died, gone close. And at no point have any of our players given a reasonable response to that. And I've realized that, hold on, I'm an extremely reasonable response to that. I'll kill this guy 80% of the time. You know, he has to play extremely well, and I have to play kind of bad to lose to a trap Dragon Hunter. So on this build, so I think to myself at this moment, right? Well, I'll guard close more, and we should win the game because I can counter that guy, force him to go into mid, and then we'll grind him up in there. So we go for this kill. This again is bad play for me because I could have saved my ally. I'm pretty confident. I get a plus that I actually don't think I need because again, this is the super squishy ranger. So I just change CCs on him, grave dig him, and we leave. I really don't think I needed a thief ally with me on that, but fine. Come back and this Deadeye is still sitting here. I guess having fun with the new Deadeye changes. The Scourge doesn't quite know how to counter him, but the enemy thief does. So, you know, it's just everywhere I go, like, the map is collapsing around me, right? So, we take a lot of damage and hopefully hit him in stealth here. Go back to the Scourge. I just stay at range and go for a pure axe kill here. It's not that hard, and when you know that they're sort of just starting out with the game, like, what's the point in going any other attack, right? So, yeah, we take him out off node, get some life force. Don't go for the stomp, just to rot him as much as possible. We look immediately to their respawns, because we know we killed the ranger and came mid, so the ranger's due to come back. We kill him instantly. We were probably on, like, 15 kills, 0 deaths right now. The enemy team's still winning. And now I'm like, all right, we've just cleared up mid. I gotta come back. And look. You even saw my old cursor. This is my old cursor. You saw I swung it around. I'm frustrated now because I'm like, I already identified this as a problem. Here's the Guardian. So we go back to close. I'm happy to come here with my ally this time, by the way, because I saw that he died before, if you remember. So as much as I'd rather just let them 1v1, I can't trust them anymore, sort of thing. So we take the kill on the road here. We bait him into attacking us and delay Shroud for ages. And then we drop the blinds and whatnot on him as well, and the conversion. Let him stand there. There's an enemy coming towards that Guardian right now, and I haven't noticed it, but now I do. I dodge back, which is kind of bad, honestly. As I move into this, though, I have so much CC. I've got Spectral Grasp, I've got Corrupt on F1, I've got Corrupt on Skill 3, I've got CC here, I've got Fear when I'm in my Shroud, I've got the 5 when I'm in there, I've got my Greatsword 5 probably. There's so much CC. I know, and he's got 1 stability on his Spectral Walk. Not Spectral Walk. The new Spectral Walk, the Scourge OP version of it. So, yeah, we know that we're going to be fine here. This is actually really good for us because it means we're going to get a double kill out of this. And thankfully, Waterfall, my allies had time to cap. I say that because if these were very, very high-rated players, they would just get off the Waterfall instantly, leave it neutral, and swing the fight. But when you're playing with low-rated players, they're going to sit there and flip the node, which is the worst play, and you'll potentially lose the fights. We get the Shroud 5, which was a really nice CC, straight into the axe with the weapon swap, and we kill that guy. Leaving my guy to stomp. Here was the first really nice play. For once, I've won a battle on one of the nodes and returned to another to win the fight before a decap. So, excellent play here from our core guard. Well done, my friend. You've managed to hold the node. He's basically died in the process, but because you've held the nodes, I can res you with the Well of Blood if we need to. Looks like we don't. It's the Ranger. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so he gets jumped. Oh, this is really beautiful, okay? This is a Shadow Step Stomp. I execute Spectral Grasp. This is the Grasp here. And pluck. He was in the middle of his stomp over there. The Grasp did grab him. I wish I could say I positioned myself to ensure that that would happen. I didn't. And for that, we win the rally race. Now the guy's charging back to our close point. I swear to God, I do go too close to counter the DH. Or was that a different game? I might be thinking of a different game. That he's back again. You can see he's just dropped his traps over there on the nodes. And it's amazing how just kind of the same movement again and again and again you'll see people do at low rated, and it can even get them quite far. Got that kill. This guy's not too bad because he just did what I was talking about. Instead of sitting around waiting for the full cap, he came off to support his ally. This is the correct play. The DH making a correct play here. He has to make sure that this wins because otherwise he's forced into a 1v1 that he knows he's going to struggle with. Or, you know, in other situations even worse. So, yeah, he goes for the res. I mean, he's not going to get it. The actual true game-winning play here is when he's on a build like that, he has to run away. This is lost because his ally went down on the road and all he can do is be grumpy at that. But he did good enough, right? The ranger here, the enemy ranger on the Zerk amulet, running in, coming to the node. Another little bit of advice here. Never do this. He's tunnel visioning the node. This is a great example of what I've talked about in the past. He should be attacking me. If he had attacked me, and even as early as like 10 seconds ago, because he's got range, that's an axe in his hand. He's got the bow as well, right? If he'd attacked me, this Guardian would not be struggling as much as he is. Like, this is actually kind of insane to see. But he's trying to get the last tick of cap, so kind of gross. I get on the node as well and delay that. The traps are still here, the Dragon's Maw. We're essentially 1v3ing now because we killed the thief, then we killed and now we're in a 1v2. My Condi thief comes in. We get the guard down. He's off point. We know that there's no chance for a res, so we go for the ranger and let the other dude rot. We take a really meaty couple of hits. We make sure that we drop some poison on that body with the 4, and obviously a ton of damage. But what I was going for there was poison to counter his down state symbol. And this is the closest I get to dying in the match. Their thief pluses me on the road, so good play from their thief. He could stomp now, frankly. He could be stomping, so what I've done is I've channeled my auto attack to cleanse the blind, because I know that the thief's still here, and that cleanse tells me that for sure, because if the cleanse didn't come through, the thief could have walked off. So there's a chance that there's an invisible thief stomping me right here. The thing is, he'll probably reveal in like the last frame before the stomp, so if I time my fear perfectly and take the target perfectly, I will get the CC anyway. It's similar on Rev. So I do this, blind refreshes, and it turns out he wasn't going for the stomp anyway. I don't know why. He could have killed me. Here, my allies playing very slow. They should have been going for that res a lot earlier, in my opinion. But there we go. Now we got mids. I'm just trying to get on that before it gets decapped. Yeah, this is definitely not the game where I change my rotation. I mean, maybe I deserve to lose this because I didn't back node properly. Maybe, I mean, look, I'm even walking towards far now. But obviously the tables have turned now. When I pointed out that game-winning play before, I was serious about that. So we go to the far point. We could have got some really nice reses. We realize that we're too late. As much as I'd like to Well of Blood that, I have to press F and my actual heal's on cooldown right now. So I start backpedaling because I don't want to get attacked. Again, this Scourge, if they weren't going for the node and they just tried to kill me, it would have been brilliant. They don't do that though, and they let their ally go down. Here I tried something. I don't know whether this works, whether you can time it perfectly. But what I'm doing here is I'm grave digging, and at the last second of the grave dig, I'm entering Shrouds to pop the Shroud Spiteful Spirit trait, which will cleanse the blind. And I'm wondering if, like, you can grave dig at the last frame before it then takes your weapon animation away. I don't know whether that's possible, but I always find myself trying that in the heat of the moment. Here I was hoping to bait the thief off to the side a little bit more. He goes for decap. My ranger's positioned well so that he can't. My allies have scored that kill. All we really have to do is bunk mid now to win. This thief out of position. But I go for the trap guards. So, as we enter this, we know he's traps. What's the number one thing he's going to want me to do? He's going to want me to go onto the node, isn't he, guys? So, first thing is obvious. Don't go onto the node. We have Axe. We can kill him just like that Scourge before. But also, he's a Dragon Hunter, and he's going to try and pull me onto the node with his F1. So you just got to think, you get all this time as you walk to think about your matchup. What is this guy going to try and do against me, you should wonder. And so we've got that. So we're going to stand off node and we're going to dodge his F1, which he'll probably open the fight with, as they all do. Oh, there it is. We dodge it. And we stand here with the axe. And now he's like, oh, what do I do? So he blinks off of the node, and now we can kill him because he's not on the node. Then he realizes the mistake he's made. We try and pull him, but he blocks. We go for the Spectral Grasp, but he blocks that as well. So we just go back onto Axe and we keep pressuring him. I mean, I can take this leisure, and then we dodge his next F1 as well, and he goes down. And then I kind of laugh at that because I thought it was quite funny. Now, here, this is why this is game of the day, though. All right, I want to show you something. This is playing off peak. We had to fight quite hard for that, didn't we? When I started queuing, I was in Plat 3 tonight. Okay, or right on the border of Plat 3. Now. Let's play this through. For winning that game, which was not an easy affair, and we had to do quite a lot, we get 1 skill rating. 1. So when I said at the start that what the game does. There's an issue with Guild Wars 2 PvP that I'm seeing here, and it seems really accentuated on EU. NA, I've never experienced this, but on EU, I am experiencing this. It happened a night before, but nowhere to this degree. This is the worst I've ever seen. But basically, the game seems to say, if you're good at PvP, or, you know, moderate at PvP, as I'd describe myself, there are going to be certain times of the day where the system emphatically tells you, don't play anymore. Don't do it. Because there's just nothing to gain from it. I mean, if you care about pips a ton, sure, but people who are around these borders, then I don't think that they're purely playing for pips anymore. So, you know, I get 1 for that. If that had gone even slightly differently, and really it was my core guard, I think, in the end, that started, like, holding the node a little bit more. If that had gone even slightly differently, out of my hands almost, I would say, on this build, I would have had a massive deduction of points, okay? So I get 1 rating. Let's roll it through. I'll keep showing you guys some stuff here. This is what our stats actually were. 464,000 damage, 21 kills, 0 deaths, snagged a revive, and look at how close this game was. Absolutely unbelievable. So, yeah, kind of maybe a little bit of a lesson. I'll also show you just my league standing for queuing off-peak throughout the night. This is what it's looked like. This is not all the games that I've played, but this is what it's looked like. So, it's just rolling the dice, and I've rolled the dice pretty badly tonight. So, I get 1 rating for a win, or 5 rating for a win, or 9 rating for a win. If I combine the rating for all 3 of my wins, okay, I'm up to 15 points. But if I lose a game, I lose 15. I lose 13, 15, 13, 18, 17, 23 just for a single loss. And so this isn't going to be news or interesting to those of you who do PvP a lot. But to those of you who don't very much, maybe you understand a little bit of where some of the toxicity comes from on the high end when good players are matched into lower rated stuff. Because the game's extremely punishing for that. There's another side of things as well where, because what the game tries to do is give even rating across both teams. So I, as a Plat 2 player in this game, I account for a massive amount of my rating. So the game actually seeks to put me with people significantly worse than me when there's not many people to matchmake with during off-peak hours. It seeks to do that. So that's just going to add to the frustration. That's why when you see like a lot of the streamers and people at the higher end playing PvP, they're all such salty, whiny, cryy bastards about their allies. It's because quite often actually the game is deliberately putting them with people a little bit lower. And it gives like this impression that everyone's terrible at PvP now, which isn't true at all, but it's kind of the way that the rating system and stuff works. So I do think this stuff's interesting. I think slowly as it continues to function in the background, how it will shift the culture of PvP players and how they think and feel about the game, and yeah, drive people away. It's kind of one of those things where if you get low population, it becomes a snowbally issue, more snowbally issue for the higher end, I think. And so really, really crazy. And particularly on EU, where there's a higher overall population. But off-peak is kind of nuts. So, yeah, that's the game of the day. I'd love to see what you guys think about the matchmaking. If some of my interpretations and stuff are wrong here, let me know down below. Maybe kind of interesting for you to all see. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.